Do you have any special remembrances from this millennium trip?
We have so many memories. They are so intensive that they are too long. It would be too long to record them in this short interview. I remember one incident, though, that was not funny at all. For the very first film conference before the Luxembourg Jewish Association in New York, Jean Kiefer had forgotten to bring our special CinemaScope lens. We had a CinemaScope film made by Philipp Schneider, a very professional film, and we had a special lens for the CinemaScope projector that was quite new at that time. And so we came to the hall where we were showing our film, and then Jean had forgotten the CinemaScope lens. So while I spoke to the audience, Heng and Jean chased through the entire neighborhood in central Manhattan from one movie theater to the next to find the CinemaScope lens. And they did come back with a borrowed lens, but that didn't fit in our projector. So poor Jean, he had to hold it by hand in front of our own lens during the whole projection. That was 50 minutes. The projection, the picture was shaking and shifting all the time. The audience had a big laugh, and we were glad when the show was over.
So, what were your impressions of Luxembourg heritage and culture in the United States in 1962?
In 1962, there were very well organized traditional activities like the Schobermesse in Chicago and the pilgrimage to Our Lady of Luxembourg in Dubuque, Iowa. There were first attempts also to build up Luxembourg museums, like in Rolling Stone, Minnesota. The Luxembourg language was still spoken by many people over there, but there seemed not enough young people to carry the heritage into the future.
So, what were your hopes for the future Luxembourg-American relations?
In 1962,
Yeah.
We had great hopes that group travels should be organized on both ways, from America to Luxembourg and from Luxembourg to America. We also realized that there was an urgent need at that time to develop cultural, social and economic exchanges between USA and Luxembourg. That was the thoughts that we had when we came back in 1962.
How did your book and documentary film Luxembourger in America come to be?
Well, from the beginning on, they were major aims of the entire trip and of our tour, and they had been roughly planned from about 1960 on. And the detailed planning was after about 61. I remember very well when I took contact with Rosch, who was the editor of the Luxembourg News of America, and that must have been around 1960. And the raw film that Jean Kiefer had turned in the States was then edited by my good wife, Heng Krieps, and it was sonorized by my comment and by the music of a harmonica trio that played music all along the film. The American Luxembourg Society here in Luxembourg organized the opening show of the film, and that was at the same time the beginning of the sale of the book. And we toured Luxembourg from one larger town to the next one or village during about 2 years until the book was entirely sold out. And I must say that the film was the major attraction for the people, and without the film we wouldn't have sold the book. And as compared to our small book market, I think that the English version that is now coming out would have really great chances to sell.
What are your thoughts about the book and film now 50 years later?
Well, I think they are very valuable documents of the Luxembourgish as well as the American history. Luxembourg contributed about 1/3 of its 19th century population to the development of the American nation. I don't know if any other nation sent so many people to America in the 19th and early 20th century. And 50 years after our Millennium Mission, I am proud to have now found the chance of English-spoken versions of the film and of the book through the efforts of the Luxembourg American Cultural Center in Wisconsin. Here is a preview copy that I received of the new English version, at this moment I must say that Fausto Gardini has made a tremendous job by translating the whole book, and I will congratulate him to this work. Now, 50 years after, I think this book should also be sold in Luxembourg, because many people over here would like to send it to their American friends. And I think if every American studies program at your universities over there buys just 2 copies for their library, I think you will easily reach bestseller record in our small country's standards over there.
What are your thoughts about Luxembourg heritage in the USA today and the role of the Luxembourg American Cultural Society and Center?
I think that the Luxembourg American Cultural Center has initiated a high amount of very important new interest in the history of the immigration from Luxembourg to America. Your center is doing valuable work. However, its actions should not remain centered to Belgium, Wisconsin only, but extend to other states like Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, the Dakotas. I still believe that St. Donatus, Iowa is the most typical and the most beautiful Luxembourg village in the USA, and that more effort should be made to preserve its stone buildings and its historic churchyard.
What words of wisdom would you like to impart on the Luxembourg Americans who are attending today's cultural conference?
I don't know if I'm a wise man, but I believe that America still is a great and a powerful country, but its democratic roots need to be refreshed and strengthened. The American people should realize that their country cannot master the world. It is most important that the international politics remain well balanced and that the United Nations have a great leading role to play in the future. I believe that at the end of this century, sincere efforts should be made by all the nations to create for the 22nd century some form of a world government based on the cooperation of all nations, all cultures, all creeds and races, to avoid wars, to combat violence, to work against illiteracy, against drugs, improve the medical care for every single person, and help the poor all around the world. I think those ought to be the ultimate goals of all our efforts in political culture, the highest form of human culture. I thank you very much for your Attention.
Bin ich einfach das Pferd.
Also, da so dem Robby einfach stopp.